New season gets underway this weekend. It's an early kickoff for us. It's Saturday because the Wrexham game is on telly. Who'd have thought? Who predicted that? Delighted to say that to help us preview this one is Tim Edwards from the Wrexham podcast, Fearless in Devotion. Tim, thanks for joining us. I think I read today, is it first time back in the Championship in 43 years? How are you feeling about the new season?
It's been a wild ride. I'm sure you're all aware of it. It's almost inescapable, I guess, which annoys a lot of people, and I can fully get why it annoys a lot of people. But like you said, it's on TV. There is a bit of hype now, and that does generate some significant viewing figures. So why shouldn't other clubs benefit from that as well? Whether it's Southampton, whether it's Oxford, doesn't matter who it is. And that was the case in the National League. There was a lot of kind of residual kind of publicity for other clubs just by virtue of us being there at the time when the takeover happened. So yeah, it's just mad. Like, none of it makes sense to me even now. It's just weird. So I said to the guys of the week that every game feels like a free hit to begin with, and every game feels like an FA Cup third or fourth round feel to it. We're more accustomed to having those as big days out as opposed to kind of regular ones, which is what it's going to feel like this time.
I mean, you've had some useful additions over the summer already. I was having a little look today. Is that right? You've already broken the club transfer record twice this summer, and you've got some useful players that have got a bit of Championship experience that have come in, and maybe some more too.
Yeah, I mean, it could be 3 by tomorrow if this Kiefer Moore deal is apparently done and dusted. So that would make it the third time in, I think, 9 days or something since sort of smashing the transfer record. So I said in the pod that we recorded yesterday that it's going to feel weird because whoever takes to the field on Saturday is pretty much going to be unrecognisable from the side that finished last season because of the wholesale changes that Phil Parkinson and the rest of the team felt was warranted and needed. Everybody's under no illusions as to how difficult this is going to be, and it's completely different to anything that we've experienced before. So I'm amazed at the players we brought in, and I'm still trying to get used to it. Usually we couldn't even afford a pot for the pot to piss in years ago, like anything else. So we've gone from that sort of bargain bucket funding to getting players in for mad money. And it's funny. It's pocket change money, I guess, compared to other clubs such as yourselves and other championship teams. So we're still going to get used to it, and I think it's important for us to kind of remain humble and grounded, without not wanting to be that team that's like, oh, we're just happy to be here. We were initially when we got out of the National League, having been in it for so long, but it's obvious that the owners and the backers and everybody involved really want to have a good crack at it again this year, wherever that takes us. I literally have no idea because, like I said, this team that we're putting together is a bit of an unknown quantity for most of us. And the league is an unknown quantity for the vast majority of supporters. So, yeah, we're going to enjoy it. It's an early start on Saturday, but whether we get walloped 7-0, whether we get a draw, whether we somehow get a win, we're just going to enjoy it. We're just going to enjoy the day out. Like I said, I think it's 4 or 5 years ago, we were literally Eastleigh on the opening day of the season, and now we've got Southampton. So it's just odd, very odd.
It's been amazing, hasn't it, George, when you look at like some of the players that they have brought in. It reminds me a bit of what we did when we were first back in that league. Just some players with a bit of experience that are potentially going to know what they're doing. They're going to hit the ground running and give a good fist of it.
Yeah, I think they've gone and done the side of recruitment that someone who kind of watches Wrexham and hopes they do somewhat well, not amazingly, but I do want them to do well as a Welshman, that they've gone and they've signed players who are good. I was worried they were going to go out and get the sort of 35-year-olds who'd played in the Premier League and were probably past it now. But they've gone and, well, to be fair, they've signed a lot of Welsh internationals, so I'm happy with that. If they're playing every single week scoring goals, then I'll be happy. I was actually at that game against Eastleigh, start of the National League season. I think it was probably 4 years ago, back when I was doing sort of work experience for the club. So to see them going from that to starting a game against Saints is quite crazy. If I recall, Eastleigh went 1-0 up and then lost it 2-1. I wonder if we might see a sort of a similar thing, but maybe the other way around, because I've got not to jump ahead to our score predictions, but I just do get the sense that Saints can concede early and cause problems, because I do think that's still maybe in their back of their minds, just being beaten every week last year. It's difficult to just shake that, because you've won a couple of games in pre-season, but the Brighton game sort of showed they can bounce back a bit more.
It's going to be a tough one, Glenn, isn't it? I mean, I've seen it been described as a banana skin, and Tim's right. You have got new players that haven't played together, so I guess that they might take a little bit of time to gel, but they've certainly got the momentum.
Well, you've got a club with momentum against a club with none, basically, and 2 promotions in 2 years. We've done that ourselves, and you go into the higher division, and until you get the slap in the face, you kind of think you're unbeatable, and these players will carry you through. I mean, I've been quite impressed with the recruitment. There's I'm not an expert on Wrexham by any means, but I'm looking down the list of names. Josh Windass, we've come across before, playing for Sheffield Wednesday, decent player. Joe Rodriguez, of course, got in last year. I don't know how old he is now. He must be about 35. He's kicking on a bit. Ryan Hardy, I remember playing for Plymouth, diving around all over the place. And the ever popular James McLean, I know, is there. So that might be another reason why people don't like you very much. But I saw another name, Tom O'Connor, who I believe was with us 4 or 5 years ago, and he was one that I was surprised we let go. I think he went to Gillingham, and maybe he's had a little journey round and ended up with Wrexham. So, but no, I think it'll be a tough game. I mean, our pre-season has been very sort of uninspiring. We're not really seeing a defined sort of style of play. What we're actually trying to do. We've got a lot of players who were failures last year, who we're hoping are going to sort of come to life again, because it's playing in a lower division. But there's a hell of a lot of question marks around us. So I think we are. I mean, I'm not being big-headed when I say we're one of the bigger games this year for a lot of clubs. So I think it's a good fixture for Wrexham to have first up, because of the amount of churn that's going on with us at the moment, and all the unknowns with landing in a lower division with the squad of players that we've got.
And how's pre-season been for you, Tim? I mean, ours has been a bit hit and miss, but some good results, or just is it about the team gelling?
It was what Glenn said, really, just uninspiring. We went to Australia, as you do, and it wasn't very good. And then we went to Holland for the weekend, as you do, and lost. So, but I never give two shites really about pre-season. They tell you very little, or they lure you into a false sense of security. And you can smash everybody in pre-season and go into the start thinking that's really great, and then get your ass handed to you. So I'd rather be like a dose of realism, just because it's needed amongst our fan base. There are certain newer elements of the fan base. All they've ever known, as you mentioned, was momentum, and wins and win after win after win, and that's not real football. It's been enjoyable for us for longer term fans, but there's going to be a period this year where we get 4 or 5, maybe win a game for 6 or 7. And it'll be very interesting to see where those who've never ever been used to that, what happens with them. Do they stick around? Do they then disappear? That's where you really figure out who the diehard fans are, the ones that maybe don't know how to react to when the chips are down, really. So pre-season's been odd. Nothing more than that. I've taken a back seat from it. I think we beat Melbourne victory. We lost in Wellington, Phoenix. We lost to Sydney, I think, and then lost to Groningen. But we beat Shrewsbury behind closed doors. That's all that really matters. Doesn't matter when you beat them.
Could you do behind closed doors as well? I was starting to think that was just that had all those.
What's that about? Behind closed doors.
It's nuts.
It's always been a rubbish term now. But the Groningen friendly, I don't know if it was better planning. It just came out of nowhere, and it wasn't even played at the ground. It was played at kind of like almost like a training ground about 11 miles away. There's like 7,000 there yesterday for it, but no away fans were allowed. I don't know if the Dutch authorities just get a bit jittery with UK fans. I don't know, but Yeah, I think it's inspiring, to be perfectly honest. But honest to God, just get preseason done out of the way. I don't really care for it too much.
Kind of comes back to what we were saying earlier, Steve, doesn't it? About the preseason, you can't really read much into it now, and it is literally just about fitness and perhaps commercial deals.
Yeah, I think so. And I mean, obviously, we have 0 commercial deals, so therefore, we have the most boring preseason known
You don't
to
need to
man.
go to Malaysia.
Yeah, I mean, we discussed this a couple of weeks ago, didn't we? It would be nice if the club just organised something that was vaguely interesting, gave people 2 months' notice, and allowed us to go. You know, just give us something nice. We don't ask for much.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was interesting, Tim, you say about the sort of new age fans not knowing, not kind of having ever seen any kind of run of sort of bad form or defeats. And obviously the same applies to your owners, of course, who have obviously been in there for the same process, for the same kind of period of time. But like last season, I think your away form was ropey as hell for the first half of the season. Then you kind of figured things out. Is that kind of likely to be the kind of scenario again where you go to the race course and you're going to be strong at home because you've got a sort of big, loud home support on your sort of behind you and a tiny little away end tucked away in that old stand on the far side. But then you go away to some of these bigger grounds and it kind of swallows you up a little bit. Is that kind of what you're expecting, or are you thinking that where you're recruiting a slightly higher level now, is that kind of okay? These players should be able to deal with this stuff now. It shouldn't be kind of new to them or kind of intimidating or anything like that. Phil Parkinson's obviously got experience in the division. Slightly hit and miss experience, I think, from what I remember of his record. So yeah, is that, are you kind of expecting to kind of be out of the traps quick, or is it going to be one of those scenarios where you're kind of bobbing around just above the relegation zone for the first 6 weeks, and then maybe something clicks into gear and you're then able to be put something a little bit more consistent together?
I'd like to think that Parky's brought in the sort of higher caliber player that's been required, but mentality monsters, which is probably a phrase that does the rounds. But you need players that have been there and done it at that level. And what we've done is it's not rocket science. We've recruited players from a higher level to drop down to then get back to where they've just come from. So we've never really utilised the loan market much. So I imagine it's something that we probably look at. But our squad is slightly bloated at the moment. We haven't managed to get offload a couple of players that we would like to in terms of on the fringes and loan moves and so on. So yeah, it's I don't know. They tend to thrive in big game environments anyway. They have done in the past, whether it's the Coventry game from a few years ago in the cup, where it's Sheffield United. So I don't think that has a massive impact. But ask me again in a couple of months' time when we're either sitting second from bottom or eighth or something. Generally, usually it's a tough one to call because, as I said, a lot of we 7 or 8 players that start on Saturday, the majority of us haven't seen in the flesh yet play for us. Which haven't had the opportunity because they've come in after the Australia tour and then buggered off straight to Holland for a couple of games. So I would like to think the recruitment for the most part has been very, very good. Very good. Les Reed, you'd be well familiar with. He's heavily involved in that side of things.
Good luck.
Yeah. I mean, he's a bit of a ghost. He'll appear now and again, then you don't see him.
He'll appear when there's credit to be taken. That's for sure.
He appears a lot when there's a trophy picture to be had.
To be fair, he did well for us for about 3 years, and then he started to believe his own hype a little bit and believed he could just click his fingers and everything would work. And that was when we stopped being humble, I think, was the mess, was what happened there. Also, he certainly did. And then it started to go a bit pear-shaped. Yeah.
I've got 2 more questions, Tim, before I let you go. First one, obviously it was a 3rd successive automatic promotion, wasn't it? Are you going to make it a 4th? What are the expectations among the fans for the season? What do you think?
Did not go down. Anybody who expects otherwise is living in a different world. Get off your high horse and get back to reality, because Yeah, you can humour yourselves and go, well, why couldn't we do it? You know, nobody's ever done 3 in a row. Why can't we do it? Because everybody keeps telling us that the Championship is a completely different entity to League One and downwards. And I'm not going to disbelieve everybody telling me that. Everybody has to be right. That can't just be a thing. So you have to take people's words for it who've been there a lot longer than we've ever remotely been there, you know. So I would be delighted with the top half finish. I'd be delighted. I would be particularly happy to finish above Swansea, just so I can dig out my old sticker, which was neatly proclaimed that years ago, and it's been in
You're going to set George off.
deep storage for a really
I was going to say, when was the last time? When was the last time that was accurate?
at least 20 years ago. At least whenever the last time Cardiff was at a lower level, it was about down at a nice little.
And can I trouble you for a score prediction, please, Tim?
You know what? I don't expect to get anything from it, because I think you've got a very, very good manager there who's probably going to go places. But you know what? Again, free hit. I'm going to go 2 each. Just that's my heart in my head. I think beat down. I don't think we'll get anything from it, but 2 each would be delightful.
Nice one. All right, enjoy the game, Tim. Thanks for the little insight, and hopefully we'll catch up later in the season if that's all right.
Yeah, lovely. Sorry for the sketchy Wi-Fi. I don't know what's happening there, so apologies.
Oh, Sunday night, isn't it? Nice one. Cheers, Tim. Thanks very much for joining us. Let's go around and do our score predictions quickly before we move on, Steve.
Oh Christ! I mean, this could be absolutely anything, couldn't it? I'm gonna kind of take it that the most recent bit of first team action is going to drive the kind of team selection for Saturday's game and the performance level. So I think we're going to go with players like Robinson in the side, Ronnie Edwards, Sugawara and Wellington on either flank as wing backs, and I think that will give us enough quality in the right areas to get us over the line. I think Wrexham, as he said, they're going to have 7 or 8 new faces in that starting 11. And it's up to us to kind of use the fact that we're vaguely familiar with each other for the most part, even if we weren't very good being together last season. Just use that as kind of a base to work from, and hope that these players remember how good they can be in the Championship against Championship opposition. So I'm going to go with a 2-0 win, I think.
2-0 win. Glenn, I know you've missed this over the summer. Score prediction for you?
Shall I take it seriously this year?
You always do for the first couple of weeks, don't you?
I do. Wrexham will obviously hit the buffers somewhere, you know, as Tim was saying. Hopefully this is it. And, you know, on the documentary, which will no doubt be produced for this game, hopefully they're all walking into the changing room at the end of the game going, shit, that was completely different level to what we're used to. Hopefully. However, I've got too many concerns about the players we're picking to start games, the way our forward line doesn't function.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're not going to, I've famously said this once before, we're not going to batter them or anything like that. I just don't think we've got enough at the moment in the front half of the pitch, unless it all suddenly clicks out of nowhere, which it might do. But there's been no signs of that, certainly against Brighton, that was going to be the case with the players he appears to be favouring. You know, we could have Dibbling and Fernandez both playing. We could have neither of them playing. There's too much to call at the moment. Flynn Downs might be back, he might not be. So I don't know how strong we're going to be. So as with quite often in the opening game of the season, I think it will be a bit of a damp squib, and I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw.
Okay. George, do you see Wrexham on their way to being the number 1 team in Wales?
Well, I think the script, if you want to put your tinfoil hat on and start thinking the football scripted, would tell you that Wrexham are going to win, because that's how the new series starts on Disney Plus. If they'd have signed the players they've signed a few weeks ago, I would be a bit more worried, because obviously like Kiefer Moore, Nathan Broadhead, Lewis O'Brien, like they're good Championship players, and if they were all settled in, I think they could cause some problems, because Saints haven't kept a clean sheet for ages, didn't keep one in pre-season, and as Glenn has said, the attacking line has looked incredibly disconnected, and I'm also a bit worried that they'll start with an attacking line that we all kind of look at and think, oh, that's lacking a player who can create chances. And hopefully Jay Robinson does start, but if he's having to come on in the last 30 minutes and turning it around, then that's a bit of a problem. So I don't see Saints getting 2 or 3 goals, and I don't see them keeping a clean sheet. So I'm going to say 1-1 as well.